Hi, this is Victor Morganti from FactEngine. Today we'll be looking at a new feature inside the Boston conceptual modelling software that allows you to define general concepts and then decide later whether or not those general concepts are a value type or an entity type within your object role model within Boston. I've got two instances of Boston open in front of me, and on the right hand side we can see that we've got a model in the Model Explorer called Test Model, and in the model dictionary for the test model we can see that there are no elements within model elements within the model, so there's no object types, no fact types and no constraints within the model. The second instance of Boston is going to communicate with the first instance via the Boston server as if it was using the Boston server as a server where this instance is a client, and the Boston server operates over Windows Communication Foundation. So I'll give you an example of how that works. If I type in the name of the model, so called test model, and I choose a broadcast type, so a message type, and this particular message type is model get model ID by model name. So we just want to get the model ID for this model, test model. So I'll execute that, and it's come back and it's returned the model ID. Now I can change the broadcast type to a FECL statement, and FECL stands for FactEngine Knowledge Language. And we can type in FactEngine Knowledge Language statements, hit send broadcast. They'll broadcast to the server, which will pass them to this instance of Boston, and execute those statements against this model, because we've allocated the model ID that we're sending the statements against. So let's just send a very simple one. So person is a concept. We'll send that, and we can see here that no error code was returned, and the error message is success. So basically it successfully created a concept in this model, in this instance of Boston. They're both operating over the same database, both instances of Boston. Now if we go to the model dictionary and refresh it with the refresh button here, we can see that we've created an instance of a general concept called person. Now let's create a second concept, which we'll call car type. So we'll broadcast that, refresh the model dictionary, and now we have car type and person as general concepts within our model. Now object role models don't have general concepts, they have object types and fact types and constraints. We can click on a general concept, right click on it and select what we want it to be, so whether we want to convert it to an entity type or value type, but we're going to do that via the interface and the API, and we'll do that in the first instance by actually specifying what we want the concepts to be. So we'll say person is identified by its ID, which is FactEngine Knowledge Language for indicating that we want person to be an entity type with a reference mode of ID. So we'll send that broadcast. Got a syntax error, so I'll just fix that. and we've created a entity type person. If we refresh the model dictionary, we only have one general concept, and we have an entity type person, a value type person ID, and we have the person entity type with a reference mode of ID. So we've successfully converted that general concept into a entity type. Let's convert car type to a value type. So we'll say car type is a value type, or we can say is written as string fixed length 100. Now, I might get a syntax error on that. No. So we've successfully converted car type to a value type. If we refresh the model dictionary, we don't have any more general concepts, and we have an entity type and a value type. And then we can send a knowledge language statement to create a fact type between those. We can say person drives one car type. We'll send the broadcast, and a fact type has been created between person and car type, where person drives car type, and they can only drive one car type, and it's a mandatory constraint on this role linking person. Now, if this page wasn't open, this instance of Boston wouldn't create the diagram for you, but because this page is open, it's created the diagram, so that makes this easier for this example. So you can imagine where you don't have any pages open, you can create hundreds of general concepts. You can manually go through them and convert them into entity types or value types, or you can use the interface itself, the API interface, to convert those into entity types or value types. Now, let's remove that fact type and remove person, and let's say person is a concept again. And we'll send the broadcast, refresh, and we should have we have a general concept person. Now we can say person drives one car type and create the fact type, and it'll automatically convert person into a value type, I believe, because that's what we've set up as the default transformation if we're going to be using that general concept as a model element or an object type within a fact type definition. So let's broadcast that. And Boston has created a value type person. We no longer have a general concept person here, and we should be able to just right click and change to an entity type. We'll confirm that. So person has been converted into an entity type now, and it plays a role in this fact type person drives car type. So you can set the default transformation for a general concept to a value type or an entity type. We've got it configured so that the conversion is to a value type by default, and then we went and converted that to a entity type. Let's remove all those now, all those model elements. and we'll do a simple conversion using the model dictionary. So we'll say person is a concept. We'll send the broadcast, refresh the model dictionary. We have a general concept person. Right click on it, we're going to convert that to an entity type. We can see we have person entity type there now, and person has been converted to an entity type, and you can allocate a reference mode or a compound reference scheme or whatever you like to that entity type. So thank you very much for watching. That's an introduction to general concepts inside Boston and the conversion of general concepts to a entity type or a value type. You can set up the default conversion for when a general concept is used in a fact type, or you can use the model dictionary itself to go through a list of general concepts and convert them to entity types or value types such that you can move forward and create your object role model. Thanks again. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.